Because I want to speak to the fact that like a lot of women here on this webinar right now, I started in a role and have a background that's vastly different from where I've ended up here. And through the years, it was largely other female leaders that have really aided me in identifying my own strengths when maybe I was a little bit blind to it or could not recognize it myself. For various reasons, it could have been, a confidence issue, or maybe my sights were just a little too narrow at the time. But they really nurtured those strengths while allowing me to arrive at my own conclusions. And I think that is so important. I'll call out Sarah because she's a really good example of this. And over the past year, I worked with her a lot while I was kind of like growing into the role that I am in now. So I think it's that unique balance of nurturing and encouraging somebody without pushing them so that they can still have that great sense of their own agency throughout that journey.
And Mackenzie, something that I've learned, I've been around a while, right? I'm not the youngest one on this block of Brady Bunch blocks here. So I've been around for a long time, and I've seen the evolution of these powerful women just growing and doing amazing things. But back in the day, it really took a man to identify, do you have potential? And how can I place you in a room where people are going to see what you can do? And I know we're talking about women and how wonderful we all are, but to really bring it back to, a couple of decades ago, you had to have people like Dave Wren who saw the value and really wanted to promote the women in his organization and be a cutting edge company that is all inclusive and wants to move forward with many diversities. So in my opinion, I think having someone like that in my career has always been something that has taken me to the next level. So and having women that you can, I think Noelle is going to talk a little bit about some of her experiences, but having women who are talking about you behind your back when you're not in the room on great things that you've done. Katie's a great example. We've seen her come in the door and just crush it right out of the gate, and having women supporting her and talking about her behind her back and saying she is just killing it. And I think that's helped elevate her to the next level really quickly. And Noelle, I don't want to speak too much about this. I know you have something really fun to share as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, the good talking behind your back that we're talking about, all good stuff.
Yes, yes. I hope you said that. I hope if I didn't say that, my ADHD brain.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my experience with Stream, I've been here for 4 years. I started as a strategist, moved up to a VP. And I feel like all of the women at Stream and their leadership and the skills that they've shared with me have really helped and carved my path of my career. More specifically, Sarah West, she's not able to make this call, but she's also a VP of integrated media who has been like my number one advocate supporter, always throwing my name into the ringer, always being that number one person, again, saying my name in other rooms where I'm not there, but always just, driving and pushing me to jump into new roles, try new things. So it's that type of support that's really been super beneficial and helping me really escalate and drive my career.
Yeah, Noelle, you brought up a good point, like pushing people, like recognizing their potential. Like Subi, you did that with me with NADA, gently forced me to apply, and was thrilled when I got accepted, and spent about 6 months worried about, can I actually do this? And randomly, like weeks leading up until the actual speaking engagement, Subi was sending me texts, making me feel motivated and empowered. And she rushed down to make sure she made my speaking engagement to make me feel like I had one person in the audience who I was comfortable with. And that was something that I never would have done on my own if I didn't have someone pushing me to do that. So Yeah, what Noelle said, just recognizing like the opportunities that someone has that maybe they don't see in themselves just yet.
I love that you shared your story, because the thing that I remember most about that experience is blocking anybody else from coming in so that he didn't make you nervous.
You blocked me.
Yeah, anyone else I knew personally.
Yeah. He said, no one on the team can go to the session. It's too full. There's no space.
Hey, listening, presenting to your peers is rough. I'll say that.
Agreed.
It is. Oh, that's real. I think that's the toughest audience, is when you have to present in front of your peers. That's
Yeah. Completely agreed. Kate, you have a lot of experience outside of the workplace, and I wanted you to chime in on the experience of women supporting women elsewhere.
Yeah, I think we, we look a lot. So I started here over 20 years ago, many years ago. I don't need to count. And there weren't any other women here at the time. We were small. It was 3 or 4 people. So I can't really complain, but so I had a really strong network, and I think that's an important piece too. I grew up in women's sports. I played college softball. I had a network of teammates and coaches and women and men, I guess, in that space. But my teammates and are still some of my best friends today, and my mom, who always pushed me to, just because, my middle school didn't have a softball team. Okay, well, go play lacrosse. All right. So I did. I figured it out, and okay, well, now I'm going to go do field hockey, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go swim too. And I'm going to, she couldn't really, once she unleashed the beast, I guess, you couldn't really stop me. So I think and I still have that network. And I think that's really important to look at too, is, you don't have to be an athlete, but what is that network outside that can help you help support you from different perspectives too? Because, we're been in advertising or tech or something for so long. It's great, but sometimes really having those outside perspectives and talking to my friends and teammates that I still see as much as I can. And one's a lawyer, one's in, the energy field. I mean, totally different perspectives, but we still relate on a lot of the same things. We can help lift each other up and push each other forward. So just wanted to kind of share that, because I think that's really what helped mold me when there was your stream was 4 or 5 people in a very small office. So where do you get that support when you really don't have a network at that time? So it was, being resourceful and still leaning on those people today.
I love that. I do this thing that I call the brain trust, and my brain trust is always, it could be different based on the stage or the role that I'm in, but the concept is to surround myself with people that have expertise or experience in the things I'm trying to learn for my role. Most of my roles are brand new or new things that I've never heard of or experienced before. And surrounding and making sure that I have this group of people that I can always lean on and leverage, even if they know nothing about the thing I'm working on, can still give me insights on my approach or, how to solve for a problem, because there's always commonalities in the actual act of solving the problem, even if it's not in the exact same subject matter. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about was, Kate, your story, because yes, there was maybe 4 people when you started. There's 700 now, and I still sometimes need outside support because no one is doing the thing that I'm working on. But back then, for you to navigate growing a company from what was your first role at the company?
Oh, I was the designer, not the design department. I was the design department. I was also the email department, the HR department, account services, pretty much everything that needed to get done. So yeah, you needed a network outside of where, because it was me, myself, and then Dave and Jay, and Baker came along, which is great, but it was, had to figure it out, right?
And part of my the thing that I just love celebrating people, because especially you, Kate, you function a lot behind the scenes. Kate is the person that is thinking through all of the things that nobody understands and wants to figure out, of all the little steps along the way. And you have this quiet confidence to kind of pull it all together, and have been such a key part of growing a company over 28 years of growth, and from 4 people to 700 plus. And I just think that that's it's an awesome story of where you started, and the role that you play in keeping this company growing. So wanted to highlight you for a second.
Thanks.
Yeah. Speaking of highlighting people, one of the other things I really love to do is embarrass Sarah. It's a personal passion of mine. And so before I ask the question of, how do you personally strive to lift up women? Do you feel like you have lessons to share there for any of you? A few years ago, I had convinced Dave and the team that we really need to do awards to illustrate all the strengths that we have, and a great way to expose the brains within our organization. And Sarah was an easy target. She was, a high officer, really exposed, had a lot of people working for her. But she gave me very little to work with. When I said, "What have you accomplished?" She's like, "Stuff, She so humble, and she gave me tangible numbers and things, but I wanted stories. So I reached out to all the people that worked alongside her or for her at some point, and the volume of novels that I got from people in, how she has impacted their growth, and how much she has done. The stories came out of those people far more. And so I think one, there's lessons to be learned in your path to grow as you lift people up, and you are giving this support to other people. You're creating paths and careers that didn't exist. You may not see it. You're just maybe trying to get through the day, but the actions you take impact people. And so Sarah, I think I remember after your speech was done, I think it was the same year, that I read to you all the I let you see and read all these notes and comments I got about you to kind of pump you up afterwards. But if ever you're struggling to come up with your brand statement of who you are and what you've done, go and talk to the people that you've worked alongside, because they have way better stories and encapsulate your strengths better than you. But any other stories of that you guys want to share, of lessons of lifting other people up? Or I know Lauren was one of the people that shared so much about you. Anybody want to chime in? Lauren?
Yeah, I mean, kind of a unique situation, probably not so much for Stream, because I feel like the longevity of our employees is, astronomical in comparison to a lot of other companies. But I've had the pleasure of, working directly under Sarah for 8 years. She always makes me cry.
Oh no.
All right, I'm done.
No.
Now that's a powerful leader. If you feel that much, you know what I mean? If you feel that
Passion.
much emotion for someone who has gone out on a limb or really done things for you, I think that's so stinking cool.
Yeah.
She really has. And I think I'm in a unique position now where I'm overseeing 5 women, which, is new as of a couple weeks ago. So I think I'm just trying to take all of the learnings from her and really make sure that I'm instilling that within each of them.
That's awesome.
That is incredible. I think it's so powerful that all of our integrated media VPs are just this powerhouse of women that started from Sarah, who started this digital team. If that's, I guess, from one role to now, 5 female women VPs run by an SVP in Lauren, and it's just such a strong story to tell, and I have the privilege of telling it all the time and embarrassing Sarah. And this time it's not my fault for making you cry, because that we can blame Lauren on. And what I
Do that often, Subi? Do you? I don't want to be on a panel again. If you're going to be,
I do make people cry often. It's my thing. No, I'm typically the one crying. Honestly, I've cried more in the last 2 weeks than I don't know. It's and that's what I wanted to talk about, because I think we get embarrassed with crying. And speaking of changing the narrative, there's Bill Parliament. I used to report to him, and he's just this incredible human that championed me a lot. But I remember hitting this roadblock and getting tears in my eyes and immediately apologizing. And he was like, just doing his best to help me navigate through it. And what I described to him was, sometimes my passion leaks out of my eyeballs, but I still need you to be direct with me, because I really want to solve this thing.